Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Gran Turismo 7 update 1.31. Now, we have 4 new events that have come along with this update, and in all honesty, it feels like a massively missed opportunity. So I'm going to take you through each of the events individually and give you my overall opinion on each one and come to a conclusion in the end on what I think about all of these events that have come with update 1.31. Now, these are my own opinions. You might have completely separate opinions, but we're going to start off with the four-wheel drive Japanese challenge, which is a 600 pp recommended event. And again, I wasn't expecting much from this one, but in all honesty, I maybe expected it to actually be a bit longer. It may as well just be a clubman event. So as you can see, we used the Mazda 3 here, and in all honesty, in terms of actually running the event, I wouldn't recommend running it more than once. Whilst the payouts are actually quite fair, paying out around about 50,000 credits, I believe, for around about 5 minutes of your time. In all honesty, it's just a very boring event. It's at the track layout of Tokyo, which seems to be the only one they ever put in, and it definitely feels like a missed opportunity to maybe do a kind of night race or just use a different layout entirely. So in all honesty, the Tokyo event for the 600 all-wheel drive Japanese challenge is just a total flop and a little bit of a boring event. It's going to be one of those events that you just come along, finish the once, get the gold medal, and probably never ever bother going back to. Next up, we have a continuation of the four-wheel drive challenge 600 for the Japanese vehicles, this time at the brand new Nurburgring sprint layout, obviously making it a bit more interesting being on a brand new layout within the game. But in all honesty, again, it's another straightforward event that you'll probably just tick off and never ever bother going back to. So I used the Toyota Alphard here, and even with that vehicle tuned to around about 600, it was just far too easy. Overall, it's again a typical sprint race, very short, and it's going to take you again around about 5 minutes. So a very kind of, disappointing event in all honesty. Again, I just expected a few more laps, maybe a bigger grid and a bit more of a challenge. But no, you got 10 cars in a sprint format race, and it's very basic and very straightforward. But again, just feels a bit like a clubman event, and in all honesty feels like a little bit of a waste of time. Another kind of gold medal and never touch again event. Next up, we have a continuation of the Porsche Cup, this time at the Kyoto Driving Park. This is a bit of a beefier event for Porsche model cars, obviously, mainly to showcase the 959 and the 904 that came with update 1.31. In terms of the event, it's a decent length, coming in around about 10 minutes, and it's just more of what you expect from these kind of events. It feels as long as what these 600 events should have been. Again, it doesn't feel too much of a missed opportunity. It's a typical sprint race, really, to basically show off all the Porsche models in the game, and it obviously makes use of 2 of the brand new cars. Overall, I can't really say I'm too disappointed in this event. However, I am not the biggest fan of Kyoto Driving Park. I feel like it's a bit of a lifeless track, and it feels a bit autodromy in my honest opinion. Not a huge fan of the track layout itself either, but overall it wasn't a poor event but in the slightest. It does have changing time of day, so you will notice that the sun will kind of begin to set, but never quite in terms of the event. Overall, pretty straightforward and okay. I think the plus side to this is the fact that it does seem to show off a lot of the Porsche cars that are in the game in terms of the older models and some of the more up-to-date models, so I really cannot complain in terms of the visual appeal of it. Obviously it does give you that excuse to use the 2 new cars, so you can use both of them. I've gone back and used the 904 as well as the 959, and both were competitive. Again, a fairly easy event because obviously no kind of tie wear or anything like that, so don't expect too much from this one and you'll probably have a bit of fun with it. But again, it's just a fairly straightforward event, so not too much to really talk about in terms of this one. Then we have the most disappointing one of the bunch, the World Touring Car 800, which is a 3-lap event around the brand new endurance layout of the Nurburgring. Overall, this is a massive missed opportunity, paying out a pitiful 200,000 credits without clean race bonus, with a 50% increase if you do get it, which will take you up to 300,000 credits. This to me feels like the biggest missed opportunity of the bunch. Obviously everybody, once we see the 800 events come in, think that we are going to get a longer event. And whilst this is a longer event coming in around about just over 20 minutes, and it certainly does feature a decent amount of variety in terms of its weather and different strategies that you could run, as well as a decent chunk of AI on track with you at the same time, again, the overall payout of this event massively lets it down. Not only that, it just feels too short. You're on an endurance layout of a track and you get a 3-lap race around it, which again, like I said, will take around about 20 minutes. I honestly feel like this is a missed opportunity to put another 1-hour race in. It really shouldn't be too hard for Polyphony to do this at this point. People have been complaining about it, myself included, for the longest time, that we need longer events, and to be given just another 20 minutes walk around of a track just seems absolutely poor. The same with Grand Valley Highway, where we had 10 laps, again around about 15 to 20 minutes and you are done, and that being the longest event from the last update. And it's the same here. Really poor, really poor payout, and in all honesty there is no reason to go back to it once you've done it, which I feel like is the thing that they are missing from this game, is replayability. It's all good saying go round it again in different cars, but why would you when the payout is so poor and you can quite easily go and do that at other events and earn a lot more money in around about a little bit more time, around about 2 or 3 minutes on average. In all honesty, I'd say this one is probably just as disappointing as the last time we got an 800 event, which was the Tokyo one. The payout really poor in terms of its length. It's a massive missed opportunity to put a decent endurance race on, especially when the track is literally called endurance layout, and it does feature different time of day and a weather cycle. I honestly feel like there's just no excuse at this point to be giving us these kind of events where it just doesn't take advantage of the features in the game. You know, okay, it kind of puts the rain in, but the rain's done and gone within a couple of minutes, and by the time you get around to lap 3 the track's already drying out, and then the event's pretty much over and done with. It just feels like a massive missed opportunity to really start getting some depth into these events and giving players what they want, especially when the game's over a year old, and the last time we actually saw an endurance race was in the form of missions and a 1-hour event at Spa, as well as the other 3 that came in a little bit before. But I wouldn't necessarily call those endurance events, they are just high paying events. So definitely feels like Polyphony really need to pull the finger out in terms of the events. At the end of the day, I've always said this game is now in a place where all the main features are implemented, such as, you know, well, now 120 FPS. We obviously have PSVR 2 support in the game, and we also have the selling cars, so there is no reason for them not to start focusing on putting proper content into this game instead of just putting it in and it being over and done with. In total, in terms of these events, it took me around about an hour to get them all done, if that. It's very disappointing in terms of content, and overall it again just feels like the biggest, most disappointing bunch of events, which could have been completely made better just by making them longer and a bit more rewarding. So in all honesty, what is my overall opinion of the 1.31 events? They are absolutely terrible. They feel like a massive waste of time. They'll be the kind of events that we all go to once, get them done, and then just leave them alone, which means we are again left repeating the same 3 to 4 events over and over again if we want to earn the money to buy those expensive cars. It just feels like there's no excuse at this point for Polyphony not to be doing this, especially now everything's in. You know, look, okay, I'll kind of let it slide with the 120 FPS coming in this update, but now they definitely need to knuckle down and get the content in the game that we all desperately want. So that's going to be it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I will see you all later on. Have a great day, guys. Peace.